Well, good day and welcome back to CNC here online review of some topics from CMU CS Academy. In this case, section 8.3.1, more for loops, in which we will review the range part of for loops. So, one thing to remember, for loops, the point in general is to repeat something. Okay, so we have a header line, in this example, line 4. Line 4 is the header line, which indicates how many times the repetition is going to go on, and then lines 5 and 6 indented being the body of the for loop, so those, the center x, and then the setting of that center x variable, and then the drawing of that circle being the body, the thing that is repeated by the loop. So we have for I in range, I being the index variable, the thing that counts while the loop repeats, and in the keyword range having this value of 5 here. So when there's just a single number in here, it's always starts counting at 0 and counts by 1 at a time. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and then stops before this number. So it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives you 5 repetitions. 0 through 4 is 5. If we change this number to 10 and we run it, you'll see then, well, why do we only get 5 circles? It has to do with size here, right? If we put in the number 9 times 80 is going to be 720. Well, that's way off screen, right? So 5 is kind of the limiting factor visually what's going to go on here. But if we make it a smaller number, you'll see that you'll get a smaller number looping from 0 through 3, right? So if 0 is the first value of I, 0 times 80 is going to get you 0 plus 40. So this first circle has a center x at 40. Okay, and then every time it's going to increase that by 80, right? Because if this goes to 1, then it's 1 times 80, with 2 times 80. So 40 plus 80 gives you 120, 120 plus 80 gives you 200, 200 plus 80 gives you 280, and so on. If we wanted to fit more on screen, we would have to change something else, maybe how far apart these circles are. So instead of putting 80 here, we could try 40, and oops, oh my gosh, and then I reset it, sorry, 40, and then 10, oops, if I could type, 10, oh my gosh, boom, and there's our 10 circles, right, with the last one being cut off, because it's just past where we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because if we take this range, the last value that's valid is going to be 9, right, 0 through 9, so 9 times 40 gets us 360, plus another 40 is 400, so you can see that that's just at the edge of the screen. Maybe we could reset the starting point. Boom, and now they all fit, right? Or you can make the size of the circle smaller. Oops. Or you can make them bigger and have them overlap. All right. Anyway, enough of that little demo. Range works in different ways. So another possible thing we can do with range is we can do this version, low, high, and step. And when we get into Java next year, what you're going to see is for loops typically working more like this. But there's different syntax in Java. But in general, we like to allow loops more flexibility. And so instead of just starting at 0 and counting by 1 each time till we get to the end, we could start at a different value, that's the low here, and we can go still towards a high value, but then we can change the step size. So if we want to increase by something other than 1 each time, we can increase by 2 or increase by 3. Or do you suppose we could decrease? Well, let's find out. So we have this loop here, right? And now it says the range is 40 to 360, comma 80. Those numbers sound familiar, don't they? Well, notice that once again, there is that demo with the looping circles. So now, instead of having to do all this math that we did before to calculate what center x is, if I hit reset, you see those original values, starting at 40 and adding 80 each time. Well, here, because this is the low-high step version, we're starting the low value at 40. We're stepping by 80 each time, so that's like that 80 times I, and then ending when we get to 360. If we change that to 361, boom, we get our fifth one there, right? So that is like the original one. But you'll notice now, instead of saying I here, we're saying center x, because literally what's happening is the for loop with this range, instead of saying, well, it's circle 1, circle 0, circle 1, circle 2, circle 3, circle 4, we are actually using the for loop to find where to put the centers of those circles. So now that center x variable is acting as the counter. Okay, so we're counting by 80 at a time. So we're saying 40, 120, 200, 280, 360. Okay. Remembering again that high value, just like with the original range where it's just a single number, that high value is the ending point, but we stop one before it, right? So if we had put 360 there, you notice that it doesn't actually do the 360 version because we stop before we reach that. It's like a wall, okay? So we don't actually touch the wall. So 361, now we can get to 360, and 360 is a valid value because it's less than the high value. Okay, remember that it's like saying, you know, is center x less than the high value? If it is, we still do it. Okay. All right. So some more demos. You can go through those. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but take a look at them and then follow up. A screencast of this would be some of the exercises from this section. So this is 8.3.1 and 8.3.2 would be next with an exercise.